It's affirmation for everybody that's invested, that you don't have to play perfect. You just keep fighting. You just keep hanging in there. So to see them through a lot of moments of overcoming, have victory, even if it's just for a few minutes till we get to the bye week, you can't put a price on that.
Well, a happy, relieved head coach when we recorded his playback show just a few minutes later, an SEC win that will long be remembered in Sooner lore, don't you think, guys? Because Auburn, really the better team overall, but OU came through in the clutch doing what we said going in, the winning formula. Winning the turnover battle, get points from the defense, and win special teams and fight for a close win at the end. Quarterback Mike Hawkins, true frosh, getting his first start. Intimidating, loud environment, shorthanded, of course, more Keystone Cops and out of sync here. Season-long disaster waiting to happen, but also a signature play right here. Whirly bird, two-pointer, fearless athleticism, extraordinary poise, and turnover-free, but hit hard and too often. 20 times at least, 14 runs, and then some on passes. He won't make it till Halloween if that continues. Defensively, too often beaten by typical SEC lanky, athletic, speedy receivers going deep. Got to make them earn it. But these guys are becoming known as goal line stoppers. I mean, relentless sound and just wanting it more than your opponent. We admire their tenacity because, well, an offense like that, frankly, you become extremely frustrated and exhausted with your own offense. Grades, OU. Offensively, C-, delivered in the clutch. Barnes and some run game were there. Tied Auburn with 6 yards per play, but generated 11 first downs, 291 yards, 8 of the penalties. Defensively, B. Gave up 482 yards and were hit and miss, but the game-turning pick six that turned into 8 points was huge. Specials, A. Hey, a coordinator helps. Schmidt, perfect kicking, the average net punting, 46.4. Overall, B. Fought their guts out and won one for the history books.
That's for sure. It'll be a fourth quarter Sooner fans remember for a long time, in large part because of the defense. Frustrated much of the day, was absolutely clutch down the stretch. All of this came on the final 3 Auburn possessions of the game. Kip Lewis shows blitz, engages, drops, and Peyton Thorne never saw him. Perfect execution. Then the Kip 6 race to pay dirt was on. Next Auburn possession. Watch R. Mason Thomas, the closer. Straight speed rush, beats the tackle for the sack. Just too fast. Next snap, R. Mason again. He'll go on a journey this time, but never gives up, eventually ending up at Thorne again, relentless. He gets better the later the game gets. Then final Auburn possession, 5 wide. Robert Spears-Jennings hides it well. Thorne never saw him coming. Great finish to the game. Here's Chris Williams with more on the sensational fourth quarter for the Sooner D.
It wasn't exactly 60 full minutes of solid defensive football. The Sooners gave up some big plays and some long drives. But what this defense also did was show up in the biggest moments again. Obviously, Kip Lewis, the 63-yard pick 6 to give the Sooners the lead. That's the big one. But how about R. Mason Thomas again? Back-to-back sacks on 3rd and 4th down in that fourth quarter to get the ball back to the Sooners to run some clock and add more points on the board. This OU defense continues to show it's made for those high-pressure moments.
When we start in January talking about a fourth quarter mentality, you know, it's a different type of mindset where we have to finish games out. And that comes back to our training that we do all the way back in winter workouts, summer workouts. And so in those moments, like you saw tonight, you know, we were able to perform at our best.
Coach Venables was saying it was his first experience of Sooner Magic as a head coach. Did it feel like Sooner Magic to you guys?
Yeah. When I was running down the sideline, I was like, wow, this is like kind of like a movie moment. By the time I got to the 20, I was the deadbeat, and I was like dragged through Kip.
Despite the big clutch plays, Brent Venables made it clear this defense still has a lot of work to do. They are going to be getting after it this bye week, getting ready for an explosive offense with the Texas Longhorns. But for now, reporting in Auburn, Alabama, I'm Chris Williams.
Well, they'll be talking about that Kip 6 forever. Let's rapid fire some Sooner topics here. Big day for J.J. Hester. Didn't have a catch all season. Had 3 catches, including the biggest one of the day at Auburn. Fourth quarter, down 21-10. Michael Hawkins airs it out. and J.J. Hester behind the defense. Dino, he's got size, 6'4". They don't really have anybody healthy like him. It would really help if he could become a weapon for them.
Yeah, you know, that's the type of play that gives you confidence, and I think that's the biggest thing he's lacking. You know, they're not going to be getting guys back from a health standpoint. I don't think Nick Anderson, no Andrell Anthony, I don't think you're getting that. I do think there's a chance for Deion Burks. In fact, Brent Venables mentioned that, and Taylor Tatum. So that would be good going into Texas. But the top 5 receivers all out yesterday for OU, and it's going to be more of the same, unfortunately. But getting Burks back would be very helpful.
That would be good. And I know you thought, aside from the bomb, only 3 wide receivers came up with catches yesterday, so they need that
a total
help,
of
right?
58 yards. And Jacoby Johnson was supposed to be moved over there, and I don't think he got a snap, did he? Yeah.
All right, Hawkins came through, guys, but a report had Jackson Arnold warming up as if he was coming in early in the 4th, Dean.
You know, I heard Toby's sideline guy, our friend Chris Plank, with that report and looked down, and that was the case. Envision where they'd be now if he'd gone in and replaced Hawkins, whether they won or lost. Unfortunately, right now, I see him more likely being available, but also looking, I mean, at stuff like redshirt and portal ops. But that was interesting.
And you know how that feels, Dean, being you're back in your playing day when you played that position. Up and down day for the defense, but great when they had to be. What stood out to you defensively, Dino?
Gosh, they are just sure tackling. They play fast, furious. They are hitters. I mean, this is a great hitting team. Amazing that Brent's flipped this defense from really a laughingstock to Nick Saban. I don't know if you guys listen to him much, but he consistently brags on this bunch. They really missed Kendall Dolby, though, at the Cheetah. Deshaun McCullough, I mean, where is he? He always shows up on these lists, but he hadn't played it down. I don't know if he will. And Stutzman doesn't look right. Cowboy collar, 3 tackles each last 2 games, and subbed for Tennessee.
When you play a good football team in a good college football environment on the road, you have to capitalize, in our opinion, you have to capitalize on those situations, and we really didn't.
Mike Gundy referencing some early misses in the red zone. Something was really missing overall, though, guys, in the Cowboys' 42-20 loss at Kansas State on Saturday. Very simply, the Wildcats had at least 3 times as many big plays as OSU. It looked like it might be much different in the first quarter, though. Ollie Gordon was very physical and had space to operate as well. Gordon, 72 yards on 9 carries in the first 15 minutes, on his way to what looked to be a big day. And his success allowed the Cowboy RPO game to work, and the flea flicker was once again successful. 3rd game of the season, they've made a connection, Alan Bowman to DeJon Stribling for a 77-yard score. But second quarter mistakes slowed the rhythm. Missed field goal, then 14-13 K-State. Bowman can't handle a low snap at the Wildcat 22. The fumble kills the drive. And it wasn't the only turnover. Bowman also with 2 interceptions. He got a one-on-one matchup for Talon Shetron in the end zone, but he didn't have great position, and OSU didn't score from midway through the second until late 4th quarter. Defensively, a season-long issue cropped up again, and some bad luck as well. Avery Johnson, K-State quarterback, able to get comfortable, and on this 55-yard touchdown pass, OSU safety Cameron Epps fell down. That kind of day. For the second straight game, an opposing running back went for big yards. DJ Giddens for 187, and this long touchdown, and then unfortunately, the capper in the 4th quarter, star linebacker Nick Martin down with an apparent right knee injury. Another All-America candidate you cannot be without. Offensively, grade time C- for the offense. A lot of yards and 7 trips into K-State territory, but only 20 points. Defense D gave up 559 yards. Another running back with a big day. Special teams C-. Another missed field goal, this time from 34 yards when you had early momentum. Overall, it's a D. Had a lead and momentum, then gave up 35 straight points. Afterward, Ollie Gordon with some thoughts.
I just feel like everything is a team, you know. Like I said, we got to learn how to find that fire and continue firing off with it, you know. I just feel, you know, maybe we need some more team bonding. You know, maybe we ain't got some more, but we definitely got to find a way to keep that fire going.
You know, I thought OSU was in a bad place going into this game, and nothing on their part. It's just that K-State had to win it, and they played like it, John. But it was an encouraging start for OSU, especially Ollie. And then something went haywire. You got answers?
Well, I mean, it's what every other team has done. Early on, you know, K-State likes that 3-3-5 alignment, and you should be able to run against that. Easier than a four-down lineman. And he runs over number 19, the safety right there. So that's an early aggression from Ollie. But 19 started coming into the box. And then all of a sudden, K-State's got at least a half-man advantage to a man advantage, and that's what's given OSU problems. They can't get a push off the offensive line. And that has been the main reason why Gordon has not had room to operate. In that first carry, second quarter, the flip to him, lost 3 yards. He never gained momentum again.
0-2 start to Big 12 play, John, but the top 4 favorites going into the season have all lost now. Not the start to conference play I know the Cowboys wanted, but this looks like a wide-open race in the Big 12.
I think it is. I mean, you just look at Utah last night, late at home against Arizona, who'd lost 31-7 at Kansas State in what is a conference, yet not a conference game. And Arizona takes them down. I mean, you guys know the talent they have at quarterback and receiver, and that was 23-10. BYU is kind of the surprise right now because they're unbeaten.
They look good.
But they've played some big games at home. So you got to see if they can win on the road. Well, after gutting out an overtime win at Louisiana Tech last week, the Golden Hurricane carried at least a little momentum into the conference opener. But you could argue a bad matchup against North Texas and prolific passer Chandler Morris. It'll get lost in the final outcome, but the TU defense kept the Mean Green off the scoreboard for most of the first half. Once they scored, though, it was over. Morris was 22 of 34 for 439 yards and 5 touchdowns, 620 total yards for the home team, and a 52-20 win over Tulsa. Golden Hurricane now 2-3 overall. Report card for TU. Offense is a D. Didn't maximize an early red zone chance and didn't get back into the red zone until way late. Defense, C-. Shut out North Texas for the first 25 minutes of the game, but then the floodgates opened. Special teams is a D. Problems protecting on punts led to big trouble. And overall, D. Couldn't stop a massive momentum shift late in the first half.
Well, still to come tonight at midnight, Sooner football with Brent Venables, hosted by Dino. He and the coach look back at Saturday's big win at Auburn right here at midnight on News 9 and News on 6.
Well, the Sooners need and get a bye week to help heal up some for Texas. We'll preview opponents, though, for the Pokes and the Hurricanes after the break and my predictions on those games.
Report Card is sponsored by your Oklahoma Ford dealers.
All right, it is time now for our viewer question. It is quarterback related, focusing on Stillwater. We have Devin in Guthrie asking, is it time for Oklahoma State to give Zane Flores a chance to play? And what would be the pros and cons of putting the young guy in? Dean, you want to start?
Yeah, I would guess that you probably would want to look at that. I mean, when you start out 0-2 and you don't have any room for error moving forward, I think that that's probably a wise look. But Mike Gundy knows quarterbacks, although some people have been critical of him over the years with the quarterbacks. But he knows quarterbacks, and I'm sure he'll do the right thing.
I'm excited to see him. He's 6'4". He's got a huge arm.
Yeah.
High upside, but you would know.
Yeah, and I think that you're talking about replacing a guy with all this experience who's the issues yesterday, maybe put one of the interceptions on him, but if you don't have a run game, it's hard to put anybody back there to ask them to be better than the guy that he's replacing at this point. Now, Flores is younger, better arm. Bowman has been very complimentary of Flores' talents, but also he hasn't done it in a game yet. Could you see him in a situation? Yes, in a situation, I think.
It's not like OU's with Hawkins because he's so much different. He's athletic and runs, and that's not necessarily the case.
Well, Flores can run. Yeah. But we just don't know about the other stuff yet in the game. Cowboys come back home this week sitting at 3-2. West Virginia will make the trip to Stillwater. OSU still in search of a conference win, while the Mountaineers beat Kansas in their Big 12 opener. The Cowboys face another quarterback, speaking of this, who can run. Garrett Green rushed for 87 yards and a touchdown in the win over the Jayhawks, and the Mountaineers are coming off a bye week, so extra time to prepare for OSU. Defensively, they're usually in a 3-3-5 scheme. That might give Ollie Gordon chances to run, but West Virginia, no doubt, will see what opponents have done and put an extra person or two in the box. TU will also be at home, an 11 a.m. kick against Army. The Black Knights had no problem with Temple, 42-14 on Thursday night in Philadelphia, and they'll come to Chapman Stadium unbeaten at 4-0. A heavy run team, this just in. 417 on the ground against the Owls. Quarterback Bryson Daly and running back Kanye Udo each went over 100 on the ground in the win.
They're good. Time for Dino's predictions now. You almost nailed the OU win over Auburn's score last week. Not as lucky with OSU and Tulsa. What do you got tonight, Dino, for OSU, West Virginia, and Tulsa Army?
Well, the Cowboys are 5-point favorites at home over West Virginia. At this point, it's a must-win, and with it being at home, I like it going in, and I think coming out. OSU 34-28. Tulsa, a dog at home, 11 points. And as John mentioned, that's an unbeaten bunch from Army. What was your number? They've won
tied for the longest winning streak in the country with 8. Yeah,
Missouri. Yeah. So got to take the troops, 38-24. The Army troops, that is.
All right, those are the picks. Write them down, hold them to it, and we play the percentages after the break.
You can't pick again.
All right, gentlemen, time now to play the percentages. OU getting that first SEC road win, but what are the chances, Dean, they get another road win this season?
You know, it sounds like we're early in the season, and that's a crazy question, but there are only 3, and these teams can play. Ole Miss is going to be mad because they lost. Missouri's really good. They're not playing as well as they could, and then LSU. I'm going to go 51, but it wouldn't be surprising if they were close to the Sooners double-digit underdog in those.
That may be the case, yes, but you went on the road once, you figure it out, even though stats may have been heavy in Auburn's favor. I'm going to say 65, and I think it may come in Columbia.
All the Big 12 favorites are dropping like flies. What are the chances, John, that the Big 12 champion this year wins it with 2 conference losses?
Who's the best team right now? BYU happens to be undefeated. Colorado could beat anyone as long as Shedeur Sanders has time in the pocket. Utah lost at home. I'm going to say, yeah, 75%. It's going to be a 2-loss team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite up to 75, but I do believe that it is I don't want the newcomers to win. I want everybody to think the old Big 12 is stronger than everyone, but I don't think that's going to happen. 60%.
The Sooners looking forward to the Red River rivalry in 2 weeks. What are the chances Arch Manning is the starter for Texas, Dean?
You know, I don't think it's going to happen. Ewers, I don't think they're pulling the wool over anyone's eyes. They say he's healthy, and I think he gets the start. So I'm going to go with 30%.
Yeah, probably, but I'll say 55. He's a Manning.
Why would you say that then?
He's a Manning.
Believe it.
All right, guys, we're going to skip question 4, go straight to 5 because Thunder season is coming. I want to know, what % of games do you expect Isaiah Hartenstein to start for the Thunder, Dean?
36%. Oh, Steve Owens, give me that number. Caruso fits probably more into it, but I'm going to go with 36%.
I'll go 44. They've got a lot of back-to-backs, and he may slide in that starting lineup a little bit more than people think.
Good options, though.
It is coming fast. All right, we need a winner here on PTP. Text Dean or John to 79640. We'll have the winner coming right up.
The following is a paid program from Joel Osteen Ministries.
Only one asset has stood the test of time: physical gold. We live in uncertain times as we face